Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome into the Coaching Company podcast. We're here every single weekday when the schedules allow to support the morning show. Hopefully, you guys caught our look ahead Tuesday. It's always a big day. Tuesdays is the off day for the NFL teams, but it's not an off day for us. And it's never too early to get ahead of the number and get ahead of the games. We looked at 4 big games today. I encourage you not only to subscribe to both of our YouTube pages, but to go back and watch the show. You can always learn something that can help you down the road. Now, today, I am not flying solo. I got my man from SureDog USA, my man Mikey P, rolling alongside today. And Mikey, I'm staring at a final last night that I think surprised a lot of people. The Ravens were favored by 4.5. Detroit came out. They were physical. They had 2 drives of over 95 yards last night. They had the longest drive of the year, over 10 minutes. Your team had that distinction from Sunday, and you held it for about 24 hours until the Lions went for 10 minutes and 30 seconds. I thought at that point that the over was going to be in a little bit of danger, but oh, was I so wrong. But it was sitting right on 52, which I bought it down to 52. Did you think the over was in trouble at any point last night?
Yeah, absolutely, especially coming off the weekend that was in the NFL. And you want to talk about petty machete? I mean, Dan Campbell. All right, you beat the brakes off off of Ben Johnson when he comes to Detroit, and then you're like, oh, 19 play drive, 9 minutes. Hold my beer. Let's go for 10 minutes, guys. Like this guy will just not let up on his former assistant coach.
That's crazy. But you look at the numbers, and this is why I think that, and they were showing the last 4 years of records for the Lions, and kind of a rough first year. Then they got better, 9-8, and then they've gotten really good the last couple of years. This is their window. This is their time that if Detroit doesn't make a run in the next 2 or 3 years, Jared Goff will then start to be on the other side of the mountain. But they're so steady. They have so many different weapons. Look at the numbers, Mikey, from last night. Jared Goff barely got over 200 yards passing. They scored 38 points, barely over 200 yards. David Montgomery was the guy last night. One of the coolest highlights I've ever seen when he's running that 72-yard run. He looks up at the big screen, sees the dudes are right behind him, angles to the left, and probably gets an additional, 5 or 10 yards because of that. I just thought it was super cool. And then you got Jahmyr Gibbs, who carried the ball 22 times for 67 yards. So between the two, they went north of 200 yards on the ground.
Yeah, fantastic display of offense by the Detroit Lions on all sides of the ball. But, Coach, I think we're going to look at one moment in particular because I think every year we come into the season over the last 3 years in the NFL and we say the Lions can be very good if Dan Campbell doesn't outcoach himself. And last night we almost had it. 4th and 1, and I'm like, if he goes for this and they don't get it, this is the Dan Campbell we continue to see. But more and more trust in Jared Goff. He throws a beautiful ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown. They get the first down, game over. That's a play that when you go back and look at week 17, week 18 and go, wow, why are the Lions the number 1 seed? Because of that play, because now Dan Campbell is calling the right plays at the right time.
See, I hate that I agree with you on this because I have been the president of the Dan Campbell Can't Coach in Big Games fan club. And last night, what a great play call. And they also got a penalty on it if it wouldn't have it completed because they caught the defense so off guard. I didn't think for a second they were going to snap that ball. I really did not. I was like, they're up 7. And then the funny part was Montgomery takes it in from 31 yards or whatever it was with Jared Goff going, go down, go down. Like, wait, they've got 3 timeouts left. They can still stop you. You can be, it's, and then after the game in the interview, he's like, well, I didn't understand the position we were in, so to speak. So it's a good thing but those extra points cashed the second half over, and we ended up, what was it, 20? It was 28 at halftime. So what they say? So they scored 40 in the second half, and I think the second half number was 26 or 27 because I played it. I played it. Isn't it nice sometimes when the game goes as you think it's going to go? Like we knew the over was the play and it
Yeah,
came in by what, 15 points, 16 points.
Yeah, from an over standpoint, but if you're a fantasy user like myself and you thought Sam Laporta or Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jared Goff and the passing offense would be there, I'm going, when did David Montgomery find 2016 all over again? When did Jahmyr Gibbs get 22 rushes for 67 yards? Maybe at some point just throw the nope, it doesn't matter. And that's the beauty of Dan Campbell and this Lions team. It doesn't matter how they're going to do it. They're going to do it. First time in franchise history, back-to-back games, they've scored a total of 90 points, and they can do it
Wow.
however they want.
I was really happy with that last play to Amon-Ra St. Brown because I had a few props after doing the Monday night grind. And I said, I need to listen to myself. It wasn't one of my best bets, but I was like, Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to go north of his number. His number was 6.5. He got 7. That last catch was his 7th. His number was 69.5, I believe, on his total receiving yards. That last play took him to 77. So to say I was sweating it a little bit would be an understatement. But I love the fact that he did go for it. We did catch those two. And then Jameson Williams, he's going to be kind of the wild card, Mikey, all year because this is the hardest team to bet props on because there's at least 2 legit stars at both positions. Jameson Williams, I cast my longest reception on the first drive, which was 22.5. He only had 2 catches for 43 yards, both on the first drive. I don't know if he quit. I don't know if he flew back to Detroit, but he didn't show up for the last 3.5 quarters. But that's kind of who the Lions are right now, aren't they?
Yeah, I would say and suggest, look at the Lions come the trade deadline. What wide receiver, because there's always 24 of them, are disgruntled by the time the trade deadline comes up. Because it's not to knock away from Jameson Williams, but it's to say he would be even better as simply a gadget guy. Instead of saying, oh, he's our wide receiver too. No, go get you a wide receiver too. And then sprinkle a Jameson Williams on an end around, on a deep ball. Let him take the top off opposing defenses. So I would say the Lions could do better by adding another body across from Jameson Williams to really bring out his unique ability to not have to be a 10 catch guy a game.
I think that's a really good take, a really good analysis by you. Looking ahead for the Ravens, uh, I never thought that I would say the day after that they appeared lost. But when Derrick Henry fumbles for the 3rd game in a row, and that was an important fumble. It really, really was. So was week 1. Last week, not so much. But you saw a reaction from him on the bench that you don't normally see. Slamming his helmet down, almost slipping on the grass and falling on his ass. He kind of did fall on his ass on the bench, though. How concerned are you if you're a Ravens fan, if you're King Lettuce, and your squad has given up so many points, scored a lot, but you now have to go to Arrowhead at 1-2, and the Chiefs are equally desperate?
The narrative coming into the season was the Baltimore Ravens defense got better. I don't know if that defense has stepped on the field yet this year. And you're right, a matchup of 2 teams completely desperate. If I'm a Raven fan, first and foremost, I want to know, when did Derrick Henry turn into George Pickens on the sideline? That's first and foremost. That's embarrassing. But when you're Derrick Henry and you have 10 fourth quarter fumbles in your career, more than any other quarter in your career, Matt, to just walk around the facility with a football and let people punch at it. I think they had a Sports Center commercial like that back in the day. This is a serious concern. And I hate to really call him out because it's not him fumbling the ball, but Coach Harbaugh. You and your team cannot get complacent. You as a head coach cannot get complacent. You can't say Lamar Jackson is that good. Sometimes we'll give up 5, 6, 7 sacks. Hey, Derrick Henry is that good. Sometimes he will fumble in the fourth quarter. No, Harbaugh, I don't care if you have the greatest job security of all time. Light a fire under your team, because you get too complacent, you will get replaced. It's just the way the NFL goes.
Bro, I'm telling you right now that last night it did feel like they were almost going through the motion sometimes because they felt like, or they were playing like, we're the best team. We're going to end up winning. Lamar Jackson is going to get us out of this hole. And here's the problem. He was sacked 7 times last night. 7. Detroit clearly figured out the coverage because when they showed it from behind him, there was nobody open. And then he had, some plays that were wide open. So that's a problem. And think about this. What if we get to December, Mikey, and they're I don't know, 12-4, and they got a big game and they're playing for the AFC North title or just to get it, whatever the case might be, and you're in the fourth quarter, are they going to start thinking twice about handing it off to Derrick Henry, which was the whole reason they brought him to Baltimore, was to salt games away?
Yeah, and when you look at, you can't really use Lamar's legs. You know, another telling play in this game for me is Lamar Jackson trying to escape a sack, and a linebacker I never heard of out of Detroit, Nowinski, just stood there as Lamar's trying to juke him, and he's like, "Okay, are you done moving? All right, you go down." It was like, Lamar, you can't surprise anyone anymore. If it's not going to Derrick Henry, it's going to go to Lamar, and if that's me saying it. What do you think NFL coaches are seeing and saying? No Justice Hill, no Rasheen Ali. They had a young, explosive back in Keaton Mitchell. He's been a healthy scratch. Derrick Henry is a bell cow. I understand that. But when you start to become so easy to figure out, December is not going to matter, because by the time December comes, and I'll say this, as much as I hated him for his time in the NFC North, there is one guy in the AFC North who is a cerebral assassin. And his name is not Trips, right? It is Aaron Rodgers. When Aaron Rodgers can see a team in his division is against the ropes, if you're playing the Steelers for the AFC North title, oh, Aaron Rodgers will rise to the occasion. So the Ravens are shooting themselves in the foot, and they're going to have to look in the rear view and see Rodgers and the Steelers coming up sooner than they think.
Wow. So when you look at the schedule, they play Pittsburgh not until December. Pittsburgh, December 7th. And then they close at Pittsburgh, well, at Green Bay, and then at Pittsburgh. The NFL schedule makers did not do them any favors the last 2 weeks of the season. It's really, really interesting how this whole thing is going to play out. As we start to head into week number 4, you're really starting to see teams that are separating themselves. You've got a lot of 0-3 teams, then some 3-0 teams, then you got teams like the Ravens and the Chiefs. Who would you say right now in both conferences? Who's the best team in your mind in the NFC, but then also in the AFC?
AFC right now, I have to say the Buffalo Bills. It's just one of those things where you want to be like, the lack of weapons. It's not weapons. It's not lack of weapons. It's lack of superstar names in Buffalo. Josh
Mm-hmm.
Allen is the only superstar you need. And then when you think they don't have any, James Cook goes, I'll just go for 102, right? I'll go 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. And they've all bought in. This is a team where we don't even talk about the coaching staff. We don't talk about the supporting cast. We just talk about the quarterback. He is that damn good. And then in the NFC, I know they laid a clunker. I really do. I know people want me to say the Philadelphia Eagles. I still have to go with the Green Bay Packers because, yes, you lost to the Cleveland Browns, and that's hilarious to me as a Bears fan. But you have Micah Parsons, you have Josh Jacobs, and you have a head coach who knows how to win football games except for block field goals. So I still like the Green Bay Packers in the NFC. I still like the Buffalo Bills in the AFC. But we have a lot to figure out after 3 weeks across the NFL.
It's scary that you and I have the same 2 teams. I thought, to be honest, I thought about the Chargers, and then I thought, Herbert has not shown me anything when we get to the playoffs to tell me that he's ready for primetime play like Josh Allen clearly is. Um, I thought about Lambeau in December with the snow and the cold. And that's why yesterday or Sunday's loss was so devastating if you're a Packers fan or a Packers player, because you want that home field. That home field is an absolute advantage that nobody wants to go play at Lambeau in January. They just don't. But you got to get there and you got to have that home game, or they could play in Dallas. They'd love to play in Dallas too, but Dallas is not going to make the playoffs. All right, that's going to do it for today. We never go longer than 20 to 30 minutes today, a little bit shorter, but we want you to come here every single day. We understand that you have a life, that you have jobs, all that kind of good stuff. So we think about that as well. Do not forget, 2 to 4 Eastern time today. It is Off the Ropes with the Coach, Pro Wrestling Nation, channel 156 on Sirius XM. A lot to talk about there, and then catch all of our stuff on demand. Subscribe to our Coach and Company YouTube page, but then also our Behind the Turnbuckle BTT page. For Mikey P, producer man, I am the Coach. We'll see you tomorrow right here. There's only one Coach and Company, the podcast. Take care.